Okay, welcome back. It's another Live Wire. I'm your host, Jared Moore, and today we're going to be doing a Live Wire on the Mvskoke Creek Nation Department of Health Diabetes Prevention Program's walking program. I have Kimberlee Little and Morgan Sunny-Searl here via Zoom to answer any questions you may have, and we're going to be taking questions through the chat. So if you have anything, post it in the chat. And to start off with, thanks for joining me today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So what is the walking program and what's the objective with it?
Well, I don't know if you know that of course, you've been with us for a while, Jared, but we started it back in 2006. So when we sat down to write the program, we did a little mission statement. And basically, it was to promote physical activity that can be continued throughout the life cycle, while we're also improving the overall health of the MCN-wide community members. You know, we have a high prevalence of diabetes with Native Americans. And so that was one of our purposes of this, was to help decrease those numbers, to help improve health and reduce the risk of disease. Those are some ideas that we had in mind when we did this. And we really wanted the communities to come together and work to be healthy. And that's, especially in the beginning, we did a lot of those types of activities as well.
So with the walking in particular, is this a situation where it's like we're just trying to start people off at the bottom and kind of like ease them into exercise? Is that the idea?
Yeah, hopefully this will kickstart and our little microfit sessions that we'll do will kind of bring around and show kind of numbers, and this is going to be your baseline of health. We just want to give you a baseline and then go from there in 8 weeks.
Okay, so sorry, go ahead. How does the...
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, walking is really one of the freest forms of exercise. So we start people there because most people have a pair of tennis shoes if they can get out and start walking. So that's really kind of how that idea came about as well, is most people can walk, and that's how it began.
So how does the program incentivize people to walk? Like, how does that work?
You want to get that one, Morgan?
Oh. So like I was saying, we have our little microfit session that you come in for, and once that has been established, there's a little bit of a number. We take your heart rate and blood pressure into consideration with all our little point system, which we can get more into that later. And but walking, just consistent exercise for 2 weeks can lower heart rate and blood pressure just by walking 20 minutes a day consistently.
So the microfit session, and I'm just trying to clear up for the audience because we kind of know what it is, that's where you would go to a clinic, one of the clinics that are listed, and also for the audience, I've put links to the diabetes program's website and their YouTube channel in the description of this video. You want to go check out either of those things. But the microfit session is like where you go to a clinic, and then there's some machines that you guys get on to measure their vitals. Is that how it works?
Well, we actually have some field kits that we're able to take out into the communities. So that not necessarily has to be specifically in the clinics, and that's what we've been doing actually the last few evenings. Some of us, we've been taking them into the communities, and we've been doing the fitness testing with our field kits. And mainly what we test is we test blood pressure that goes with the heart rate, like Morgan was talking about. We do a flexibility test with a sit and reach, and then we also do a strength test. And then, of course, we weigh you so we see what your BMI is. So that's kind of part of the testing results that Morgan was talking about that gives you a final pre-test fitness score. So we do have those available at our clinics as well. But right now, for the walking program, we are actually taking those out and trying to meet the people where they are.
Okay. So if somebody, and is there somewhere that people could go to find where you guys are going to be with these field kits? Is that announced on Facebook or?
Well, in most of the communities, I don't know about you, Morgan, I know some of the communities that I've been working with, because we have 5 health and wellness educators that are in each of our clinic areas, and they have their own communities. So some of the communities are actually posting it on their own personal Facebook page, what date. So I know that's happening with some. Right now, we don't have anything out there because some of them have still been able. In fact, I just got one today that was scheduled, that one of our guys in Okima just scheduled with Holdenville. So we were still trying to get some of those done. But I can send that over, Jared, if there's a way to post that information, and I can read anything. I've got the whole list in front of me. If anybody has questions about where, we can do that as well.
Okay, well, what are the most, is there ones coming up later this month or in April? That might be, if you could tell them where they could go. And also, if they go to a clinic, is this, for this assessment, is this something where they need to make an appointment, or can they do walk-ins?
You want to answer that?
Right now, the clinics are a little touch and go for outsiders for non-clinic workers to come in and do this microfit session. That's why we are reaching out to the communities.
I see.
But I do have.
Is that just because COVID? Is that like COVID?
It's all because of COVID precautions.
Gotcha.
I do have dates and times set up for the Coweta community centers, Tulsa. Like Kim was saying, we have a whole list of all of the community centers, and a lot of them are after hours, so you'd be able to participate after work.
Okay,
and sign your whole family up.
So if you're a citizen and you're out there, your best bet would be to contact your community center and say, hey, when is this assessment going to be here, when you want to jump in? So after you have your microfit done, right, what's the next step in the process?
It's all on you.
Okay.
That it's up to you. Like I said, we're giving you a baseline, letting you know what your health is, and it's up to you. Diet and exercise. We're all certified personal trainers. We all have backgrounds in health, so you can ask us for any tips, any pointers for diet and exercise. The diabetes team has nutritionists on board, and that's what's great about our program. We have things to help you get there. So
is it a situation where the individual gets their assessment and then they start walking? How do they report do they report miles or time, or how does that work?
So now, Jared, this is something that especially if you've been with the walking program before, we're almost having to erase out of our memory, turning in walking logs, doing things for extra credit. Now, we are still doing some things for extra credit, and that's good. But as far as logging, we are erasing that from everybody's memories for right now, because this is actually going to be based upon post-test. So some of the employees probably saw an email that went out and talked about an 8-week challenge. Well, it's not an 8-week challenge. It's actually longer than that. But at 8 weeks, they have the ability, if they would like, to post-test. So they'll have up to 3 times that they can post-test before September. Right around September is when we're going to end everything. So they have the ability to post-test up to 3 times, which is really great, because then they can see how their post-test score has raised, hopefully, with the tips that we've given them, like Morgan was saying. If their flexibility is very low, we talk about some stretching type activities that help them to get better. In fact, I had a lady one time win a challenge here on, I'm not kidding you, I think mostly the stretching. It's because she stretched every single day. So those are some little things that happen, but they can post-test, and that's how they can get their points. And also involved in 5Ks, health fairs. We have our diabetes summit. We're going to have opportunities for people, when we do our Creek Festival, maybe some opportunities there that they can participate in events that we can give them credit for. So awesome. Those are some ways they can get extra bonus points along the way, as well as if they have a BMI over 25 and they lose 7% of their weight, we give them 5 extra bonus points for doing that. So we're giving some good opportunity for them.
So with the points, what do the points work? Is there like prizes or something at the end? What are the points for?
So we have our point system. If you improve your overall fitness score by 1 point or more, you qualify for a shirt, hoodie. 3 points is a bag, a really nice sling bag. It's great for if you're going out hiking or walking. It's a great bag just to have. And then, like Kim was saying, if we improve our point or the score by 10 points or more, then we can hook you up with a voucher with a shoe fitting by Fleet Feet.
Oh, so, wow. Cool.
Yeah. It's a great prize.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's what everybody's shooting for. They're all shooting for that prize.
Got to get some shoes.
And we hope they all get it. That would be great if everybody got it.
I do too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like a great program. So, and I'm just going to try to encapsulate. So you do your pre-fit, and that's going to set your starting point, and then
yes.
you'll go through a period of time where you, and like Kim, what you were saying is you have those pre-score situations where you go back, you get tested again, and it sees if there's improvement in the different metrics that were measured at the beginning. And then in September there'll be a final measurement, right? And then at that point is when your points are all calculated and it determines what prize you get. Is that?
Yes. Well, and so let me just say this: at 8 weeks, if you post and you're up there and you get a shirt, hoodie, and a bag, if we have it available right then, we'd like to just give it right to them then,
awesome.
Or at least pretty soon. But we're not expecting that people are going to get 10 points in 8 weeks. I mean, it is great; it's a great thing to shoot for. But we also want people to know they don't have to do that. So we want this to last a little bit long too. So if they come back and let's say they don't want to test in 8 weeks, they just want to test in 16 weeks, they can do that as well. And then they can test one more time at the end if they want to. But if they've met their goals at 16, they don't necessarily have to post-test in September. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I also wanted to mention to the audience, too, because you were talking about the Diabetes Summit. And anybody watching this, if you're interested, maybe you have diabetes or a loved one has diabetes, but we're talking about exercise programs, you should definitely go into the description of this video and check the Diabetes Program's YouTube channel. They've got recipes on there with a personality chef. They've got exercise programs. Kim and Morgan both have a exercise routine video that's on there. So, and I'm assuming we're probably going to be doing another round of videos for this upcoming Diabetes Summit in the fall. So keep your eyes on their channel. If you're a person who has diabetes or is worried about diabetes or has a relative that has diabetes, you really ought to go there and subscribe to their channel because you'll get updates then every time they post something. And there's a lot of great content on their channel that is just focused on diabetes prevention. Plus, one of the things that I think is really interesting on the Diabetes Program's channel is there are a lot of lectures by medical professionals and doctors about all of the minutia of the science of how diabetes affects you medically and things you can do to prevent it and things that just the average person might not know, where you could watch it and learn a lot of things about medicine and the human body, even if you don't have diabetes, or you're just watching and go like, I didn't know it did that to your, like one of the things that was interesting to me is the eyeballs. Last year they did a lecture on how it affects your eye tissue and everything, and I was like, I didn't know it did all that stuff. So it's a really good channel. And I wanted to thank you guys for coming on today. We're at 13 minutes. Is there anything that we haven't talked about the walking program specifically you guys think we need to mention?
We can definitely mention dates. And first of all, I just want to thank you for getting us into the YouTube, because that has been a very big blessing for us to get the information out to others. We hope to be in person on the Diabetes Summit this year, but we don't know. You know how that goes.
We'll see.
But if so, we might get with you on seeing about posting some videos. If you could be at the summit and post some of those videos for individuals that aren't able to attend.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be wonderful if you could do that.
Yeah, and also if we get closer to that date and there's been a decision made, I'd love to we could do another live wire on it and just tell everybody, hey, it's happening in person this year, so we're not going to do the remote thing, but that would be, a lot of people would be happy about that, I know, because that's a big change from the going from what the Diabetes Summit was pre-COVID to what it was during COVID, whereas it's kind of a different totally thing. You can't interact the same amount that you could when you would go to the physical summit. So
it's been hard for a lot of people, but one thing to remember about our program as well, Jared, is that we are not just management of the program. So our nurses, they manage our people with diabetes. But the side of it, like what Morgan and I do, we're the prevention side. So type 2 diabetes is preventable, and this is one way that we talk about how we can prevent. So like you said, we invite people that don't necessarily have diabetes to the summit and to come to these types of things, because we don't want them to eventually get diabetes. One of the things that people think a lot of times is, I'm destined to have diabetes because my family had diabetes. I'm just going to get it. It's genetic. Yes, it is, but we can also help prevent it. And eating healthy, exercise, those are some of the main ways to do it. And that's
manage it and help your family members manage it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, that's what I think is really important about the walking program and some of the stuff that you guys do too, is the fact that if you go to the diabetes program's web or YouTube channel and you look at the videos, the exercise and stuff, it's not like you're going to the gym and lifting a bunch of weights. You know what I mean? It's a manageable amount of exercise. It's not going to break your back or anything like that. The walking program is the same type of deal, where it's like, you know, if you get out and walk and you keep consistency with it, it's going to have an effect. And then on top of that, there's prizes to be had. There's also, wouldn't you say, kind of a public competition element to it, where the people who are participating in the program are like, I'm going to get the shoes or whatever, you know, like.
It is, and it's a competition with themselves, and that's what I told them. I said, you know, we've been doing challenges with our employees throughout this pandemic because that's really all we could do, and so we have some competitive. I don't know about you, Morgan, but the people here you follow, they are awesome. They compete, and they were competing against each other, but this right now is competing against themselves. And one of the things that Morgan had mentioned earlier was that increase in your health and decreasing the risk of disease. That's an incentive all in itself, and that's what we're hoping people get out of it. Yes, we'll give you a goodie that isn't health and awesome incentive as well. And so, you know, that's something that we want people to kind of take away from it, is this needs to be a lifestyle change, not necessarily, okay, we're going to do it for this section of time that we have the walking program and we're not going to do it again until the next one. We want people to continue to be healthy and just change their lifestyle instead of just doing it for that small portion of time.
Well, I want to thank you guys again for coming in. If you guys are okay, we're getting close to wrap time. I do want to tell the audience all of the stuff, the dates and the things that we're going to talk about. There's going to be some flyers that'll be in a Google Drive link that I'm going to put in the description. We just didn't have them yet, but after the video's over, Kim is going to email them to me, and I'll put them in there. So if you want to get like a list of community centers and things like that where you can go to get your pre-fit test to start the program, just check back in with this video later and look for that link. We might also, once we get to that stage, post it on our Facebook page so that people can go in and just click it from their Facebook if they use Facebook. So, but other than that, is there anything else you guys like to add?
No, just they need to be Native American. 12 and up. 12 to 17 needs to have a parent come in with them. And now we're signing up non-Native employees as well. So that's something that's very new this year, because we've had, like I said, through the pandemic, we've had our employees signed up, and they're so excited, they're used to it, and they proved to us that they're going to be just as competitive. So they're invited to sign up as well. So we welcome them too.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys. And we're going to have another live wire this week on Friday at 6 p.m. We're going to have Carmen Bruner come in, and she is a Mvskoke jazz singer. She has a concert next week. I believe it's on April 5th. So if you want to tune in for that, it's at 6 p.m. If you have any questions for her, you just want to watch the show. Other than that, thanks, guys, and I'm going to sign out if you guys are okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Mado, chit-chat, please.